What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm super excited to get with you guys today because today is Hump Day. When it's Hump Day, it's the Sports Lounge Media. And I am here with our host, Mr. Mark Crandall and Sarai. How you guys doing today?
Great.
Amazing.
That's great. That's great. All right, so we're gonna get started today. Of course, we got your recap. We also have our future picks or our future games, and then we have our top five. But before we get to that, guys, let's get to our sponsors. Mark, take it away.
Of course, we got number one sports fan located Tulare, Visalia, Hanford, and Los Angeles. They just got the Dodgers World Series gear. So if you need all that stuff, just hit up number one sports fan. We also have Cali Bill Graphics, who takes care of all our shirts, hats, everything like that. They take care of all that stuff for us. We also have, last but not least, of course, Brian Martino Construction. Hit up Brian at brianmartinoconstruction.com. Mention Sports Lounge Media, and they will give you $1,000 off for every for the project that is $10,000 and more. And of course, here at SLM, we are powered by the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection. Go to poweredbytnb.com, put in Sports Lounge Media, and you'll get 20% off of your order.
Awesome. Yeah, let's get right into it. Starting with the games that happened last week. In week 8, we had on Thursday night, we had a Vikings loss to the Chargers 37-10. We had the Eagles overcoming the Giants and a bad injury to Cam Scatabo. Doesn't look like he'll be ready for next season, but pretty bad injury. But the Eagles rolled without AJ Brown and proved that they can get it done at home against the Giants 38-20. We have the Jets with an upset against the Bengals 39-38. They finally got a win. We have the Ravens. Thought Lamar Jackson would be back, but he's not. He'll be back next week. But they still won 30-16 against the Bears. We had the Dolphins winning this week. They played like the Dolphins did last year when they're at their highest level. They got 34 points against the Falcons. Falcons been that team that's been up and down. We'll see what happens next week. But the Bills beat the brakes off of the Panthers. Complete BTA 40-9. And then you have the Niners losing to the Texans. Texans are trying to find ways to win. And they won 26-15. We got the Patriots beating the Browns 32-13. We got the Buccaneers beating the Saints 23-3 without, again, Mike Evans. He should be back soon. We have the Colts winning again. Yeah, I mean, who are they really playing this season? But they won 38-14. They are rolling. And then we have the Broncos beating the brakes off of the Cowboys 44-24. We have student versus teacher in the Sunday night game. And it looked like the student won 35. It doesn't look like it. They did. He did 35-25 against the Steelers. And then we have our Monday night game, as they should have won. The Chiefs won 28-7. What game stood out to you guys? And let's talk about it.
Try.
Yeah, so Vikings versus the Chargers. Looks like the Chargers dominated the Vikings. I do believe Carson Wentz also got hurt, so wishing him well in his recovery. But yeah, I think I took some mental notes on a couple of things. Justin Herbert looked great, 18 out of 25 passing for 227 yards. I think they went in, they dominated. They were kind of clicking on all three phases: offense, defense, and special teams. There was a lot of takeaways from there. And I think they came back from the previous loss and just really kind of dominated that game. So I really enjoyed watching that game.
All right.
Mark?
For me, it was the Cheats. The Kansas City Cheats and the Washington Indians. I mean, Commanders. What do you want to call them? No, for me, it was with that game. Seeing Patty Mahomes start both the first two series in the first and the second quarter with interceptions, and just seeing what they did. Travis Kelce did manage to he got his 83rd career touchdown with the Chiefs, which actually ties the record. Congratulations to that. accomplish. But Patrick Mahomes, he managed to get 299 with 3 touchdowns, so he did able to improve. We still haven't seen a completely healthy Washington Commanders team. Once again, we're not going to see it once again. This next week, as McLaurin has already been announced that he's going to be out for this week. So it's the injury bug is just staying across the NFL. People are trying to rush back from whatever injury they have, and they get re-injured. So, but the way that Kansas City played, they got a couple interceptions. They managed to turn them over on downs. And so it just showed that they're going to need all weapons when it comes to Washington for them to try and have any type of competition for the NFC East.
Awesome. Let's get to our chat real quick before I give mine. We have Diamond Hand saying, let's go. He also saying, let's go Birds. We have Harrison in the chat. Sorry for your loss. But he says, yo, what's good, SLM family? What's going on? Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. Harrison or Diamond says, what's good? He says, let's go Birds again. And then he said, scat is a real one. I have no response to that. And then he says Cowboys. I do want to say this about the injury real quick with Scatabo, because I haven't had a chance to get on any TikTok lives this week because people don't want me up in their panels, which is fine. But I have a platform here and I will speak on my platform. Do you know that with Scatabo's injury and how big the rivalry is between the Giants and the Eagles, do you know who was the first person by his bedside when he woke up?
Big Dom.
No, it actually was Zach Bond. Zach Bond was the first one next to him, was the person who responsible, I guess, for an injury. And then, yes, Big Dom did come to feed feed him and his family and everybody there. It wasn't a Giant that was there first. And that speaks volumes, even though our fan base can be a little rowdy and a lot of and pretty crazy. There is teams out there that have players that do care about other players. Yeah, and like Diamond says, he did hand out pizza and cheesesteaks to everybody. But I would like to shout out to that shows a lot of sportsmanship. And when it's coming from an Eagle, you guys always see the bad things that are coming from our fan base, the bad things that are coming from our team. But it's all about the players and what the players do at the end of the day. And what we showed was sportsmanship on that behalf. And the fact that we were the first ones in the building and not his own team speaks volumes on the Eagles. So I just wanted to put that out there. Please clip this if you can, DP. That's important that we put that out there. But it's, yeah, Philly is the city of brotherly love, and we showed it there. And I just wanted to put that out there. My pick was the Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are actually having 8 game. Starting with this week, that's 7 more games that are winnable games. When Lamar coming back, they're must win. If they go 7 games in a row, that would make them 9-5 and right back into contention. So that win was really huge for them, and for them to do it without Lamar was pretty big after the fact that the Bears have been on a 4-game winning streak. And the Bears are 4-3. But Tyler Huntley was 17 for 22, 186 yards and a touchdown. You had Derrick Henry, 21 carries for 71 yards. He almost reached that 100-yard mark, but he did have 2 touchdowns. And then also you had Charlie, who scored a touchdown, which I believe is one of their tight ends. Yeah, so that was a huge one for me. I think that with them winning that game puts them back in that and having 7 games straight that are winnable for them to get back into contention, because right now with the loss with the Steelers to the Packers opened it right back up for teams like the Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens to get back in this thing. Let's move on to the next week. Next week we have on Thursday night, tomorrow, we have the Ravens facing the Dolphins in Miami. And then on Sunday, we have the Falcons versus the Patriots. We have the Chargers versus the Titans. with the Bears versus the Bengals, the Colts versus the Steelers, the 49ers versus the Giants, the Broncos versus the Texans, the Vikings versus the Lions divisional game. We have the Panthers versus the Packers, the Jaguars versus the Raiders, the Saints versus the Rams, the Chiefs versus the Bills, the Seahawks versus the Commanders, and Monday Night Football, or that Sunday Night Football was the Seahawks and the Commanders, and the Monday Night Football would be your Cardinals versus the Cowboys. I want to say this first before I tell you guys to pick the game that you guys are most excited to see is do not gamble responsibly. Okay, you guys are probably reaching out to John. If you haven't, you've seen his the SLM bets thing, and this week is pretty much a lot of non-locks. There are a lot of could go either ways. Yeah, so but gamble responsibly. 1-800 gambler. We don't condone any addiction to any gambling, but if you do, gamble responsibly. And this is not a good week to gamble. So, but what is one game you're excited to see from each of you guys?
For me, it's going to be the Bears and the Bengals. I want to see if the Bears can actually pull a win because I only had them winning no more than 5 games on the season, is what I had. And them being at 4-3, I'm like, okay, they might tie it. But looking at their schedule, I still don't see no more than 5 wins. This is their 5th win that I am predicting. But it depends on what Joe Flacco shows up. So I'm going to enjoy that one. That's the one I want to see if they can do, because I don't mind being proven wrong when it comes to certain things, but I just don't believe in the hype of Chicago.
100%, and I'll go next. But feels good to be 6-2 in a bye. Absolutely, going into the bye 6-2. Look like we got 2 big running backs. Tank Bigsby had a day. So did Saquon Barkley. By any means, we're not saying this is Sonic and Knuckles. We have our own name for our guys, but I think Tank earned his position at number 2. There was a big trade today to get our CB2 as well. But you can see that on the Down South Philly show with everything that they talk Philadelphia Eagles. Well, my pick, I got the Colts and the Steelers, man. Colts haven't really played anybody outside of the Rams. And so this will be a test. This is another game must win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's a must win for them to keep the pressure on winning in that division. But it also we'll see if the Colts can compete in the AFC and see if they can play against a juggernaut like the Steelers, who make the playoffs every single year for 18, 19 years straight. And so that would be my pick of the week. I want to see if the Colts can beat them Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Do you think Aaron is doing one of those things where it's back and forth, having the good games, the bad games? I mean, we've seen it. To me, when I watched that game with Pittsburgh and Green Bay, I saw that first half being the way that it was, and Pittsburgh owned Green Bay, and I saw very iffy calls that should have been called. So do you think they kind of were trying to favor Green Bay, or what's your thoughts? I mean, or do you think that just Aaron managed to blow that game away, or basically blow up and combust?
Yeah, I seen a defense that was not putting as much pressure as they normally do against most teams with the Steelers. I think that there was a lot of hold. I mean, obviously, there's going to be on every call there are going to be holding calls, but I think that there were a lot of calls blown in that game when it comes to holding, which gave Love a little bit more time in the pocket. But I think Aaron managed to blow that game. I think he could have blown it wide open. He had opportunities to do so. But at the end of the day, Jordan Love did a really good job of executing the game plan and getting the job done. And I mean, there's nothing really I can say, but fight next week, man. Yeah. Boswell had a hell of a game. I mean, in these big games, I like to literally, I say this all the time, I sound like a broken record, but in these big games, when you're playing against tough competitive teams that are going to be playoff caliber teams, you have to score touchdowns. You cannot kick field goals. And in this
100%.
game, they kicked 3 field goals. And so in those operational type of things, I think Mike Tomlin and the crew needed to put in um, plays that will score the football, not
Mhm.
plays that will be manageable. To maybe they were thinking clock management, maybe they were thinking other things to help them conserve more time towards the end. I really don't know, but what I do know is in big critical games just like this and playoff caliber teams, you have to put them away and put them away quick. And they just weren't scoring touchdowns in the beginning, so I think that's what cost them ultimately.
Okay. What game are you looking forward to this week, Sarai?
The game that I'm looking forward to is the Chiefs and the Bills. I think the biggest thing is just to really see. I think the Chiefs are starting to click because Patrick Mahomes has his weapons back. So I think I'm starting to see a lot more clicking on all phases. So I'm interested to see how those two teams kind of go against one another to kind of see what we're looking at for AFC.
So what do they
Yeah,
have?
I
They
think
got
I think that the question mark really is we're not questioning the fact that they both have high caliber offensive teams. I think offensively, respectfully, the Chiefs have took a dip a little bit. Um, I think that it comes down really to the Bills defense. Can the Bills defense step up when it matters the most, and in situations where they have them 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, things like that? Um, I think that I still don't think that the Chiefs are for real yet. They might slip into playoffs, but you have 2 teams in the AFC West that are very, very strong competitive teams, and they still have to play each other. You have the Broncos, you have the Chargers, and you got the Chiefs now, bringing up a little bit of steam and putting some pressure on both of those teams. Still not a believer in the Chiefs. There's still question marks if they can get it done, especially when you have a Denver team who's top 5 defense. That's going to be competitive, and then you got a 2-sided team with the Chargers. They're the team that has it all together, and they can beat you in multiple ways. But in this game against the Bills, when you walk into this game, you walk into Buffalo, if you can come away with a win here, it really puts a lot of pressures with those 2 guys that are in front of you. But honestly, I don't see them getting that done. I think the Bills are going to be a little bit too much, but we'll see. They got to prove me wrong. I'm still going to stand in the paint and say that they haven't really proved anything other than what they've been proving the last 3 years, and that's them slipping by either crazy calls or just staying in the game.
Yeah, I think on that Bills game, this last week we saw Josh Allen not perform to the way he normally does. I want to say I know he was
Yes,
under
he did.
200 passing.
He put up a 40 burger.
He didn't know, but yeah, he did. But when it comes to what he did offensively, James Cook ran for like 219 yards. I mean, he had a 200-yard rushing game. That game was offensive. It was based basically around the run game. So that's where
Okay,
you're
so
seeing Josh Allen. He's not. You can tell he's having a struggle at the wide receiver side. Keon Coleman is not performing like they were expecting. Just the wide receiver help that's needed there. So that's why I think. I mean, James Cook is obviously he's playing probably some of the best ball he's ever played. But for me though, it's like everyone's so used to Josh Allen being that guy that's like, okay, I can get you 250, 300 plus yards, and he is not. I think he's only got 1,500 yards. I mean, he's barely averaging 200 yards a game, if that. So we're seeing the run attack happen a lot more because of the struggle that they are having in Buffalo with the wide receivers position.
I just feel like he hasn't been consistent. I haven't seen any consistency from the Bills, to be honest. And the only other team that I could see maybe might have a competitive edge was the Ravens, and that was at the beginning.
Yeah, so he's averaging 222 is what he's averaging.
Yeah, but
so
isn't wasn't that the question in the beginning?
No.
And wasn't that the question that I asked in the beginning of the season? That Josh Allen couldn't do it alone, like he can't do it by himself, like he only could do so much. But people continually told me that Josh Allen can still get it done and be Superman. but yet now we're seeing him go for 163 yards or whatever that was in that last game, and now you're having James Cook pick up the load. But then when Jalen Hurts does it, okay.
Oh, I'm not. Hey, I'm. To me, quarterback's quarterback. You know, the style
we had
of play.
we had this double standard last week question, and now we're kind of circling back. It's cool. It's cool. I get it.
No, there's no double standard question. What I've always stated was you have a quarterback. You have two different styles of play. Every coach is going. You have to utilize what the coach's their style of play is. Do I want to have a running style quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Patty Mahomes, who can be outside of the box, or would I prefer someone that can stay in the pocket? Me, myself, I've always said, no, I'm the old fashioned way. I would rather have, that pocket passer. I have no problem with Jalen Hurts. Now, I know they had a ranking that was just released that we have in our group chat that was, I think it had Jalen at like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL.
Insane. And I have so many stats on that, on why he,
I'm like, I completely 100 disagree with that. I'm just like,
I legit might release my own video just based on that.
Now, I will say Jalen Hurts is top 5. I know some of you guys say he's like top 2, top 3. I'm like, no.
Put this DP.
I will say Jalen Hurts
the dude had back-to-back QBRs of 140.
I'm not saying he's not legit, but there's also games that he struggled. But it happens with everyone.
But you just alliterated that whatever the quarterback is asked to play,
the style of play. And there's days where it is going to be a run game. It is going to be that. But when you start seeing the way he's playing, because I've seen him where he's forcing it. I've seen Patty Mahomes forcing it. I've seen Josh Allen forcing things.
You've only seen Jalen Hurts force it when we had that little tantrum from A.J. Brown, and he forced it in that game. That's the only time you've seen him forced it. The dude has only one pick. One. And all these other quarterbacks that you put in front of him have multiple picks. The guy has 10 touchdowns through the air. We'll get into it.
Josh Allen has 15. Patrick Mahomes has 17.
I just don't understand why it's such a big deal about the passing.
Yeah,
because that's like I said,
he has 16. He has 16 after the weeks have passed by. Before that had happened, Jalen Hurts was top 3 in touchdowns. Do you know who's the number 1 receiving touchdown player in the league?
Who?
It's Dallas Goedert. Do you know? Okay. Do you know who threw him those balls?
Joe Flacco.
Number 6 receiving yards in the league. Do you know who's number 6? You know who's number 6 in receiving yards? Devontae Smith. Do you know who threw him those balls?
Wade Miller. Joe Flacco.
Come on, bro. You know who had a perfect passing rate? Come on now, man. I can go on and on and on, bro. I get the Jalen Hurts hate. That's why I'm accepting it, because you're looking at Jared Goff, who throws just as many touchdowns in a season that he throws interceptions, but you're going to put him above Jalen Hurts. You're going to look at a Josh Allen who puts up.
I've always said it goes off of the style of play. If I had to choose, I believe in certain aspects of, okay, I want this style of quarterback. If I want a running quarterback, 100%. You have
who you go? So you'll go, since you.
If I'm starting a team, if I have complete open constant,
you're going with Josh.
I'm going with the pocket passer.
So you're going to go with Jared Goff. You're going to go with Jared Goff, who makes multiple mistakes, versus a guy who makes minimal mistakes.
Again, you have, but when he has his bad days,
I get the Jalen Hurts.
Like I said, no. It's not having hate.
I get it.
It's not having hate whatsoever. It's stating the fact that you have every person has a different style of play. You can have people that run the West Coast. You can have a running scheme. I mean, we saw Saquon Barkley last year rush for 2,000 yards. We saw Josh Allen throw for 5,000.
Where do you place him for quarterbacks that run then?
Jalen Hurts, number 1, 100%. If I know my offense is going to be established as a run style type of offense, out of the pocket, stuff like that, I want Jalen Hurts to stay that style of quarterback. because
But
that
he's
is what
but
he
that's the
is.
point. He's the point that I was making prior when I was talking about the touchdown. He hasn't been a run first quarterback.
But that's what makes him
He's
a
only
great
has
quarterback.
5 rushing touchdowns this season, and only 2 of them were tush pushes.
But that's what I'm trying to get at. The offensive coordinator is trying to change the style of his play. If it's not broke, don't fix it. When you have a quarterback, they had established that they won the Super Bowl, that he should have, he was in MVP contention. He deserved it.
Do you think he's in MVP contention this year as a quarterback? Is he in the MVP quarterback conversation?
He's in the MVP talk general, period. 100%.
Jalen Hurts.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Technically, he's like number 10 right now, I think.
Number 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's blasphemy. All right.
I forgot to put it in our group chat, but yeah, they put it out for MVP runnings right now.
That's cool. I love it.
But when you look at guys, look at what Justin Herbert's done. He's got 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's leading the league in passing yards. Consistency, yes. Like I said, every game is established differently. As a person who would coach, if I'm going to coach the game, I'm going to utilize what type of offense. The OC in Philadelphia needs to stop changing what they have been successful at.
Yeah,
that is what I've always gotten at.
We've had so many offensive coordinators quit stealing them.
Yeah, let's get into our power
right now. When it comes
to get into our
MVP talk real quick, Jonathan Taylor. I knew I'd get him to.
What does that mean?
I said my MVP pick leader right now is Jonathan Taylor.
Oh no. If you didn't have Saquon Barkley last year, you don't have Jonathan Taylor this year. All right, so
it's very difficult for a running back to get it 100%.
I don't know what this means.
Like I said, but that's mine.
Educate me, guys. What does this mean?
Okay, Sass.
I don't know.
6, 7.
I don't know.
What? I don't even know what that means.
All right, so let's go through some of this. Yeah, a lot of it is clickbait. Yeah, top three, and he ain't 3. 15 is blasphemy. Diamond has him at number 1. I like a quarterback that wins. I will take Hurts. It's about preference. Good with the top 5 from other people. Let's keep digging.
Patty Mahomes is the number 1 runner right now for MVP. Just to let y'all know, it goes
Stephen A. Smith. Who's Stephen A. Smith?
It goes Pat, Josh Allen, Drake May, Stafford, Mayfield, Jones, Taylor, Love, Goff, Hurts, Herbert, and Prescott.
That's crazy. That's all clickbait. All right, so
Goff has 3 interceptions, by the way.
Crap. All right, so let's get into our top. Let's get into our top 5, starting with Sarai. Go to Mark. I'll finish it off. And then if down south, if you can stay in here, because I want you to clip this next thing after I'm done with my power rankings about a release that we're about to release on Halloween.
He said,
oh, Stephen A. Smith. That's what it means. Okay, cool. But we'll go with the top 5. Go ahead.
Yeah, so honorable mention for me is the Denver Broncos. I think that the Denver Broncos have just been really showing. I think their defense is just there. They say defense wins games. We'll see. But yeah, honorable mention Broncos. Number 5 is the Lions. I feel like they have a lot of completeness when it comes to all 3 phases. Number 4, like I mentioned before, I have the Chiefs. I just think Patrick Mahomes, Rashee Rice is starting to look real nice coming back. I think he's really started to set off the momentum for the Chiefs. I do agree with Chosen that they might still slide into the playoffs because they started off rocky. Number 3, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. Go Birds. I think that last week was a complete game for us on all 3 phases, all 4 quarters, and I'm excited to see when we come back that all of our injured players come back on the roster and playing field. I'm excited to see what our team's going to look like coming in playing the Packers. And then number 2, I do have the Packers. And then number 1, I have the Colts. I mean, the Colts are them. I mean, despite scheduling, I just think that they are clicking on all 3 phases. So.
That's funny.
And shout out to their owner because she's a bad. I think she's got that team clicking.
I think she's annoying.
Yeah, no, I think it's powerful to see a woman like that being involved.
I think it's a distraction.
That shows that you don't trust the system. That you don't trust who you hired or who you have. That's what it shows.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it shows power.
How does it show power if you're on the sidelines?
Because she's involved. I think she's involved.
You can be
also if you recently saw an interview that she just did about the reasoning why she's down there, the reason why she's trying to build community, the reason why you see her writing all the notes and how she's really wanting to learn the game and know the game so that she can manage and understand which players need to be drafted and stuff like that. Her interview was actually pretty.
Yeah, but you could do all that and not do too much. The people that have more power don't have to show it.
Yeah, I think I like it.
That doesn't show power. That shows. Never mind.
And shout out to the Seahawks. Like DP said.
All right, go ahead, Mark.
I got Broncos as the honorable mention. Patriots at 5, Eagles at 4, Bills at 3, Lions at 2, Colts at 1.
Mark has this love for the Lions. I mean,
well, he's a Detroit fan, so he's gonna have.
He just can't get it out of his system. He don't even have his own team on his stuff.
Yeah, Green Bay is way they're top of the division, and he still has Lions. It's okay. Who by the way, who the Lions beat? Who has the Lions beat?
Who haven't the Lions beat? They got 5 wins. That's who they beat.
Know. Name those 5 for us real quick.
The Lions have beat. I got too many stats stuck in my head.
Yes, start off with the Dolphins in week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, and then who did they beat after?
They actually had just so you know, they had the loss in week 1.
Okay, so they had a loss in week 1 against
Green Bay.
Okay, and then they
beat the tar out of the Bears.
Okay, the Bear. We're talking about the Bears. Okay, go ahead.
You got I'm going to go there and I'm going to say this. Every person wants to make a comment about, well, it's a division game. It's a division game. Well, that's why we struggle. The Eagles struggle with the Giants. That's why divisional games. Everyone knows.
But to your logic that you'll never go for a person who paints their fingernails. But carry on.
No.
And you said that Caleb Williams was a bust,
and he has been.
Okay,
I think the Lions have
the Lions beat somebody who's a bust. But we're gonna give the Lions, but we're gonna give the Bears credit. Okay, that's cool. Carry on. Okay,
beat the Ravens. Beat the Ravens with Lamar.
They were trash. But go ahead.
You have them projected to win the division.
I didn't say that they're gonna win division. If you remember my dark horse
at the beginning of the season, you had the Ravens winning the division.
I had them going to the AFC Championship.
The Ravens, but you just said they're trash.
At that particular moment, they are.
Exactly. At that particular moment, at this particular moment, yeah, they've been playing like trash. I agree.
Okay, carry on.
But you had your projection. Okay. Beat the Browns like they're supposed to. Beat them badly. Beat the Bengals like they're supposed to. Beat the Buccaneers. Okay, so that's their wins.
They do have a high-powered offense. They do. We have to give the Lions that.
So when you look at it,
yes.
Now defense
teams that they're supposed to beat, and I've always said this: if you show you can beat the crap out of the teams you're supposed to win, that to me is what gives you credit. But when you struggle with the games that you're barely winning, and you should be beating the crap out of them, It's like, no, you lose points in my personal opinion.
That's what I was about to say. I think everybody here has a different personality when it comes to rankings and how they rank their teams. Maybe that's what it is. Because Mark just thinks you have to beat the bricks off the easy teams, and then
You should. There's a reason why they're the easy teams.
But it's clearly that's clearly not the case this year, though. There's been a lot of wins that shouldn't have won, and there's a lot of losses that shouldn't have been lost, and there's teams that shouldn't beat teams, and it's been different this year. But I mean, I guess if you think that the Lions, hey, that's your opinion. You know, we're gonna ride.
Why not the Packers, Mark? Why don't you have your own team?
Why don't I have the Packers? Because they're not playing the way they should not have, to my personal opinion, they should not have tied the Cowboys. There was no reason for that tie. They should not have lost the way they did. They haven't played the way they're supposed to. Do they have the capability of being a great team? They do. They struggle at wide receiver help. We just saw Christian Watson come back. So you're going to sit there and see them starting to improve.
What about the efficiency of them?
That's the thing. You haven't been consistent. That's where I look at, where's your consistency at?
Yeah.
That's when you show you can be consistent and you can show you can beat the teams that you should be beating.
Yeah.
That is where I'm like, okay, you get credit. Now, when you get those wins, it's like, okay, I barely squeaked by. The Eagles have had a very difficult game. They've had a very difficult, they've had a difficult schedule. I have no problem acknowledging that. But and they've beaten some great teams. But they also, when they lost that game by 17 to the Giants, I give you credit. It's a divisional game. We saw that outcome. We saw that outcome just this last week. All of a sudden, they lost by 17 the first time they played, but now they beat them by 18. It balances it out.
Okay.
So that's my logic. That's where I'm like, get the wins that you win, and the wins, when you look at the wins that the Eagles had, yes, a win is a win, 100%. But with that win, it's like, should you have not beaten them by more? Should you barely be squeaking by? And that's where the Eagles, they were struggling at the beginning of the year because of the offensive and defensive coordinator change. And it's the same exact thing that happened with the Detroit Lions. But I know a lot of people will say, well, this is that. Well, it's the same exact scenario.
Where do you have the Bills at?
3.
Interesting.
I think with the Eagles, though, another thing is like we're pretty steady. I think we're efficient, and I think we're winning with the little things, and I think that eventually will combust into the bigger picture. So I think that's what a lot of people are forgetting on our end.
I agree 100%.
I think our body of work will carry us to the playoffs. I think the fact that we are playing against, I think 6, I don't know, somebody correct me in the chat. I think we played 6 playoffs teams so far. Or wait. Yeah, we played 6 playoff teams from last year.
Do the Cowboys count?
Correct.
No, and then
no.
and we beat some of the juggernauts. I mean, we're beating the Rams. We're beating the Buccaneers, who they thought that owned us, and we're beating the Rams. We're beating the Vikings. We're beating so on and so forth.
Vikings are trash.
And I'm saying from last year, we played those playoff teams that are
I know
from last year. Okay, so follow me here. And then we come off of the bye week, and then we have to play the Packers, and then we play the Lions. That's a heavy load for a Super Bowl team to come back. Now, let me remind you. Most teams they call it the Super Bowl hangover. And when we talk about the Rams, when they won the Super Bowl, they were 5-12 the very next year. So I mean, it is what it is. I'll jump into mine real quick because I do want to get back to we're in the 6th inning now, but so my power rankings is honorable mention is the Chargers. They had some losses there. They had some wins there. I still think that they can put things together. We're talking about we're going into week 9. Okay, we're going through half of the season already. And we're starting to figure out who these teams are in the second half, right? The first half is to figure it out. And I believe that the Chargers are starting to pick up a little bit more. I have the Broncos at number 5. They beat us. They beat a lot of great teams. They're starting to put it together. The things that have worried me is the same things that worried me about our team is their comeback wins. They just for some reason were fighting from behind 3 weeks in a row. Not this past week, but the 3 weeks prior, and to win those games. That's a little worrisome. But they put it all together this last week. So I got them at number 5. I got Lions at number 4. Still not a believer. If you put pressure on Jared Goff will do exactly what he's made to do, and that's to throw interceptions and give the game away. So I'm until I see more, yeah, with no pressures, with no defenses yet. But yeah, we'll see what happens when he plays against competitive teams and he plays within division, and then we go from there. 3, I do have the Eagles at number 3. I should have them a little bit higher, but I won't. Because of their body of work, they're going 6-2 into the bye week. I did put the Giant because we lost to the Giants. I do put us a little bit more down, but look for us to turn it back around. We did get our CB2. We did get rid of the eye candy of Sarai of Mechie. He's now over with the Jets. So she has to go
I'll be
watch.
a Jets fan.
Now she got to go watch the Jets lose and be happy about that. But we got our CB2 and Michael Carter, and so
I would have paid his bill.
we'll see what happens with that. And then I have the Packers. They've been winning in every way possible. They've showed me they can win with their defense. They've showed me that at late in games, Michael Parsons does what Michael Parsons does and gets a sack at the end of most games. And he's shown that he's more he can get more sacks with the interior than he can off the edge, which is interesting to me. And so that I have Packers. They're rolling right now, and they beat the Steelers, who I think would have won division, which was my dark horse. And then I do have Colts at number 1, which I should have dropped the Colts after doing some research because they have played nobody. They've only played one strong team, and that was the Rams. They should have won that game too. But I would like to see them play against more competitive teams that will make the playoffs before I'm a believer in that. But they are doing what they do. Danny, it seems like for some reason that Giants organization's giving away talent, and then all of a sudden they perform the following year. With Saquon Barkley gone, who they paid pretty well, and then Danny Dimes they gave a big contract to, and now he's playing really well with the Colts. And then they have Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman Jr. The defense has been playing okay, and then they have a strong leg with their kicker. So they can win in many phases, but I just think that they are a mid team. Yeah, hypothetically they could be undefeated. We're playing with a lot of ifs. If my uncle was a girl, that would be my aunt. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So at the end of the day, I would like to see them play against more competitive teams. But for now, next week will be a lot different. But I have them at number 1. And that's all I have.
All right.
All right, so guys, real quick, I'm gonna drop this real quick. And DP, if you're on here, this is the part that I want you to clip. I'm super excited to get with you guys today because we are going to drop on Halloween our interview with Jesus Lopez right here on YouTube. You can catch our interview that we did in Las Vegas right here on YouTube, and we'll have little reels going out to other platforms. But to see the full video, you're gonna have to tune in right here. Maybe we can schedule it out. We'll see if we can schedule it out and put it out there. And maybe we can make it go live in all platforms how we do it on here as well. But we'll see what we could put together. If not, you could see it right here on YouTube exclusively on Halloween, as soon as the sun sets, I guess, PST time. So probably the same time, 6 o'clock on Friday, or whenever we are free. But yeah, you see Jesus Lopez in our interview here exclusively with the SLM team and everything that we did there. Great interview. You guys are not going to want to miss a lot of great stuff that we have on there. Please, again, join us on Friday when we release it on Halloween. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for everything that you guys do for us and our community that we are building. Tell your friends and family about us. Any last words from either of you guys?
No, I think we're good.
I think we're good. I'm glad it's a bye week.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight, and we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Catch every single one of our shows, and you're going to see them right about now.